Welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers. Today we explore the explosive, emotionally charged unraveling of the Davis family as Kristina makes one dangerous choice after another, leaving her sister Molly reeling from betrayal, heartbreak, and devastation. This isn't just sibling rivalry. This is full-scale emotional warfare in Port Charles, and Kristina's descent may just redefine what it means to cross a line. What began as an act of love quickly mutated into a tale of obsession and spiraling dysfunction. When Kristina first volunteered to be the surrogate for Molly and TJ, it seemed like the ultimate gift, a sister helping another build a family when hope seemed lost. But within weeks, that selfless gesture took a dark turn. What started as generous soon became possessive, and Kristina's emotional boundaries began to erode. The baby she carried stopped being Molly and TJ's in her mind and started to feel like her own. Those around her saw the warning signs, but few could have predicted just how far Kristina would fall. Her fixation intensified until it turned reckless. Driven by a belief that Ava Jerome posed a threat, Kristina confronted her late one night at her hotel suite. It was a move no one advised, least of all her family, but Kristina insisted. She stormed in, fueled by paranoia and adrenaline, only for the situation to spiral into catastrophe. Moments later, she fell from Ava's hotel window in what would become a defining moment not just for her but for the entire Davis clan. The fall didn't kill Kristina, but it did cost the life of the baby, a child believed to be Molly's. In one horrifying instant, everything collapsed. Kristina survived the fall, but the psychological scars ran deeper than the physical ones. Even after the tragedy, she refused to acknowledge the gravity of her actions. She resisted calling the baby by the name Molly had chosen, subtly insisting on an identity that kept herself at the center of the tragedy. She made no effort to hide that she viewed her bond with the baby as more valid than Molly's, despite never having any legal or emotional claim to parenthood beyond her role as surrogate. The arrogance wasn't just hurtful. It was destabilizing for Molly, who was still grieving and had nowhere to place her trust. As if this wasn't enough, Kristina's spiral took another terrifying turn. Under the misguided belief that Ava remained a looming threat, Kristina saw a car she believed was Ava's and slammed on the brakes in front of it in an impulsive act of road rage. But the car didn't belong to Ava. It was Rick Lansing, her estranged father, and Elizabeth Baldwin inside. The collision was devastating. Both were hospitalized, and Rick's condition quickly became critical. Kristina's actions may have cost her father his life, all based on mistaken identity and unresolved fury. Ironically, Rick had been enmeshed in his own morally dubious schemes, collaborating with Ava to blackmail Alexis. But even his sins couldn't overshadow the danger Kristina was rapidly becoming. Her recklessness was no longer confined to emotional manipulation, it had escalated to life-threatening actions. As Port Charles reeled from the fallout, Kristina didn't retreat or show remorse. Instead, she launched another plan, this time aimed at disrupting her sister's chance at love. Kristina turned her sights on Cody Bell, a man who had grown unexpectedly close to Molly. Whether Kristina's motivation stemmed from jealousy, a thirst for control, or simply the desire to own the narrative again, she saw Cody as a threat and inserted herself into the dynamic. Rather than support her sister's happiness, Kristina schemed to derail it. She attempted to weaponize Cody in a new seduction plot designed to disrupt Ava and Rick's blackmail efforts, all while subtly convincing Molly that Cody wasn't trustworthy. The psychological manipulation worked. Molly, still raw from grief and unsure who to trust, began to question her instincts. She convinced herself that Cody was using her, an idea seeded and carefully nurtured by Kristina. Despite the fact that Cody had no malicious intent and had grown fond of Molly in a way that was respectful and genuine, Kristina's influence poisoned the relationship before it had the chance to blossom. In the process, Kristina ensured that Molly was left alone, emotionally vulnerable and isolated, just as she had been following the baby's death. This wasn't a simple case of miscommunication or sibling misunderstanding. This was sabotage. Kristina's need to control the narrative had reached such a fever pitch that it consumed every relationship in its path. She alienated her sister. she endangered her father. She manipulated her friends. And she shattered any remaining hope Molly had for a family, both emotionally and biologically. In the court of public opinion, viewers have begun asking the uncomfortable question, has Kristina become the most destructive sister in daytime television? The evidence is mounting. Her original act of kindness has long since mutated into a chaotic campaign of emotional terrorism. She moves from victim to villain with whiplash speed, never acknowledging her damage, always spinning a new excuse, a new justification. And all the while, Molly is left to pick up the broken pieces. There's no doubt that Alexis, torn between her daughters, will eventually be forced to make a choice. The line Kristina has crossed is not one that can be quietly forgiven or swept under the rug. As Rick fights for his life and Molly retreats deeper into a shell of numbness and mistrust, the Davis family faces a reckoning like never before. The community of Port Charles may forgive, but forgetting isn't part of the deal. And yet, as always with General Hospital, secrets have a way of surfacing just when characters think they've gotten away with everything. The truth about Kristina's crash, her involvement in Cody and Molly's breakup, and the full scope of her manipulation hasn't fully come to light, but it will. And when it does, Molly's response may finally flip the narrative. For a sister who's been pushed to the edge, forgiveness may no longer be an option. In the weeks ahead, General Hospital promises even more shocking revelations as Kristina's mask begins to slip. With each attempt to control, protect, and justify, she digs herself into a deeper grave of consequences. And while redemption is never entirely off the table in Port Charles, Kristina's road back will be long, steep, and paved with every tear Molly has shed in silence. So stay tuned. Because when the truth finally breaks through Kristina's web of deception, the aftermath could tear the Davis family apart for good, and no one, not even Alexis, will be able to stop it.